Welcome back. Well, you know what they say, when the flag drops, the talking stops. We're here on the grid then for the first race in today's programme. This is going to be really good. A short 5-lap dash yesterday redefined the grid, so I'm here on the third row. Ben Holland, Lee Watts had a really, really good ride. Scott Laurie as well, led, but now he's down here on the third row. Moving back to the second row, to the right of me, the ever-present Roger Lovelock and Rick Lawrence, always reliable, always dependable. They're on the second row. Andy Peach, Charlie Richardson, they're on the second row. The front row, though, remains the same, although a very subtle change in position. Relegated to second place, Tim Reeves, Greg Clues, our new pole position, the Birchall brothers. 9 laps then, that'll be roughly 26 miles of this fantastic New Snetterton 300 circuit. A big, big entry. It's a narrow start-finish straight. They've got an uphill climb towards the first right-hander, 5th gear right-hander of Riches. Flagman indicating the lights. 9 laps then. Reeves against the pit wall. When the lights go out, like now, they're away. Expect to see some contact here because they're bunched. Look at the chopping and changing as they head. Scott Laurie then. What a cracking start. He eclipsed Tim Reeves somehow. Reeves' outfit seemed to bog down. The Honda definitely bogged down off the line. But the Birchalls, from the word go, look at them throw it round the back wheel, just skating round as they chucked it into that right-hander. I'd like to say he did that with front brake, but of course there is no such thing as a front brake as such, but he certainly threw it round. Andy Peach, Charlie Richardson getting a little bit sideways. It's all frantic, it's all going on. Alongside me, jumping about in his chair, getting all twitchy, former driver, Roger Body. Roger, look how close they are.
Yeah, fantastic, particularly this left-hand, you know, and bunches everybody up. Left-handers are considerably harder on an outfit than right-hand as well. I always think they were, but to say the Birchalls make light of it.
They certainly are. Leg in the air then from Tom Birchall, already breaking away from Scott Laurie and James Neath, but the Scotsman on the black outfit really, really making his presence felt. Up the inside there goes Andy Peach. Can he get it stopped and turned? Oh yes he can. Charlie Richardson anchoring down the sidecar, antics over the back wheel. Reeves then in 4th, the number 77, yellow and green. Then it's John Clark, Stuart Graham. Then it's Roger Lovelock, Rick Lawrence, number 49 on the green outfit. Then it's Ben Holland, Lee Watson. Here we go then. Let's take a look. Talk us through the start here, Roger.
It's a typical start from Andy. We saw Andy at Brands Hatch. Nobody, he gives in to nobody at the start. And having said that, the Birchalls come straight across the front of him. But Ben's obviously really wants this race, you know. And Reeves is caught there in 4th place, so that's good for Ben.
Well, a great battle going on. Onto the grass goes John Clark. The Ulsterman away on the grass, runs wide. Again, that fantastic right-hand turn by the Birchalls. Reeves then has got past Scott Laurie. He's up to 3rd, Tim Reeves and Greg Clues. Ben Holland, Lee Watson, the number 60 JH Racing outfit. Look at the Birchalls breaking away. They came into this round with just the points they collected in the opening race at Brands. Since then, they've been away doing other things, you heard in the interview. Reeves and Clues then chasing down the pack. No longer is Tim Reeves the dominant force that we've seen in previous races. He's having to work for his living these days, and work he really does, not least of all the passenger, Greg Clues, one of the most athletic, I think, on the circuit.
Yeah, I think Greg seems to get his photograph. He does work really, really hard at passenger, and he's such an enthusiast. He's such a determined character. Hates losing, hates it.
Look at this lot, 3 abreast. Sorry to cut across you, Roger. 3 abreast, and Reeves goes past Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson up into 2nd place. And you mentioned to me earlier that is one of Andy's strong points there, and yet Reeves was through. So up to 2nd, down to 3rd goes Andy Peach. Still Scott Laurie on the black outfit. He's there, Roger Lovelock. Then it's Ben Holland. Look at the race leader. A massive, massive advantage here. Clearly loves this track. Can Reevesy wind him in?
Well, he's certainly coming after. I think that's why he was so determined to get past Andy, you know, there, rather than leave it any longer. But I think he's left himself with a big task to catch the Birchalls. They're obviously on form, and you know, and they know these tyres inside out. Whereas, to be fair to Timmy, the Avon tyres are a new tyre for him, and I think he's struggling with him a bit, but probably more in his head than really on the track.
Oh, on the grass. Reeves is off and he's on the grass. Funny we should be talking about tyres when that happened, but he's gone grass tracking. That means, and a handout from Greg Clues, that means we're coming back on the tarmac. Now, what's that done to the order? Second place in Andy Peach, white outfit. Third, Scott Lorry. Fourth, Roger Lovelock in the green. Then it's Ben Holland, fifth. I reckon Reeves is down in something like seventh place. So difficult to identify it all. Phil Bell is up there, so Phil Bell's ahead of him. Then we've got the Reeves and Bygrave pairing locked in a duel, so they share the same awning. The Ben Bygrave and Callum Lawson duo trying to learn from the old master. Dare I say old master? Well, why not? He's certainly a few years older than they are. Look at the race leader then, Ben Birchall, supreme, on his way here to 25 points. Well, unusual to see Reevesy go on the grass. He must have been trying.
Well, it's funny, I just said about the tyres, but whether it is the tyres, I'm sure it isn't. I'm sure it's, it's just Timmy getting used to them. He's been on the Yokohamas for a long time.
Well, that's Craig Chaplow and Pat Farrant's hand in the air. They've had all sorts of problems with fuel starvation, but Craig Chaplow, having scored points in the early rounds, has had a disastrous knock-hill and an equally bad Snetterton so far. Reeves then making ground, coming alongside Phil Bell, but he's got a lot of traffic ahead of him. Ben Holland, Lee Watson, they're looking good. They're looking stronger with every race. Terrific, terrific riding. On board then with Scott Lorry and James Neve. Ahead of them, the second place outfit, Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson. A puff of smoke from the rear wheel. Scott Lorry too, he's one of those riders who's getting quicker and quicker, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's so determined, Scott. He's trying hard on all sorts of fronts, the promotional side and the sponsorship. He really is a determined rider, both on and off the track. He presents himself really, really well.
Well, for those crews from north of the border, of course, they've got all the driving to do. It's much harder for them. Possibly the economic climate is more difficult for them up there to get sponsorship, so they need everything they can get. Look at this pair of veterans. What a class act they are, though. They're always there. Roger Lovelock, Rick Lawrence, combined ages approaching 100 years. They told me that, so they don't mind me saying it. Always carrying the number 49. Always immaculately turned out, and always at the sharp end of the race. This is the battle then for second place. It's where the race is. We can't ignore the Birchalls. They're in clear air out the front with a handsome lead, but second place with Reevesy closing is going to be anybody's, Roger.
Yeah, I would think Timmy can get on the back of this crowd, but they're all pretty good pace now, and you can see he's not just reeling them in 2 seconds. It's taking, this is probably the second, third lap, and it's still not quite on them. So these guys are really coming up on the front.
Sidecar popped up there just a little bit on the left-hander as they came onto the straight. As I said, it's a very difficult left-hander. Scott Lorry showing his nose again to Andy Peach, who really throws caution to the wind and chucks the outfit into the right-hander at Riches. Along then to Montreal. Here we go. Down the gearbox here at Montreal. This tight one, squirting up through the gearbox again. Fourth gear to the left-hander of Palm. Oh, Charlie Richardson, hand in the air. So Andy Peach's Suzuki has expired. They've got a problem. That puts Lorry and Neve up to second. Are we going to see a podium then from young Ben Holland? It was almost a podium at Brands, and he did it without his passenger. Again, the passenger's backside up in the air as Roger Lovelock.
Nearly without another one.
Nearly drove underneath it. Yeah, absolutely. What about that? How close do you want it?
Yeah, in the left-handed you get a lot of this because, the chair wheel's up, so everybody takes them slightly different, but it's great racing.
Ben Holland left the door open there for Roger Lovelock, who's now in a podium position. No, he's not. Ben Holland fighting back. He really is giving it some stick here. The youngsters ahead of the established former champions. Roger Lovelock looking on the inside again. Has he got it this time? Reeves is right behind him. Wow, that was about as close as it gets. But how they maintain control on the brakes into a left-hander, it couldn't be more difficult, could it?
No, it's really, really hard. But it's good to see that these youngsters obviously know that Timmy's there, and they don't seem intimidated. They're still, they're not afraid of keeping him behind.
Can I say intimidated? I think that would be a good thing to say, wouldn't it? Here we go then. Timmy Reeves, number 77, going through on the inside of Roger Lovelock and Rick Lawrence. So going up a notch. He's raised his game now. He knows the Birchells are way, way, way ahead, but he wants second place on the podium if he can possibly do it. He's right in the wheel tracks now of Ben Holland and Lee Watson. Lovelock just maintaining a watching brief there. The conditions here perfect, very strong wind, and that will affect them a little bit as well. Oh, very slow into that right-hander. Now, we're getting bunched up a bit. Is he going to nip on the inside, Roger?
I'm sure he will. Tim's not going to miss that opportunity. It's quite easy, really. You know, it was Ben got it slightly wrong in the right-hander, left the gap open.
Well, a little bit of inexperience, but the racecraft will come. What we're seeing here is these young guys really making their mark on what is the top sidecar championship in Britain. This is the Eastern Airways British F1 Sidecar Championship, and everybody aspires to be in it. It bodes well for 2012, never mind 2011. They're at it here, tooth and nail. Roger Lovelock, Rick Lawrence, just look at the view they've got of the Holland Watson outfit ahead of them. Are they going to get through? He's sideways again. Leaves the door open, doesn't he?
Yeah, he seems to hang the back out a bit on some corners, but you know, he's still carrying the speed. And if you look at that's where he's losing his little bit of time, is the fact that, you know, he is losing that bit with the back hanging out slightly. But I'm sure he's going to get there.
Terrific race then for second place. The answer to the question, is Scott Lorry going to hold on to second? Well, we'll know that in the final analysis. Tim Reeves now right on the back. Slipstreaming does count for a bit here at Snetterton, especially on the very fast back straight where they're pulling, as I said earlier, speeds in excess of 150 miles an hour. James Neve, the big, tall James Neve, just watching. He can see that very quick Paget's Honda come alongside. Number 77, Tim Reeves. They've got it. They've got it. At the end of the straight then, into Riches, they've got it. Well, brilliant stuff. A good recovery from Tim Reeves, it has to be said.
He carried a lot of speed on the start and finish straight, didn't he, through the left-hander, and that's really what gave him the speed at the end of the straight. So, but I suppose he very patiently come up through the field then, Tim. He seemed a bit more aggressive than that. But perhaps he knew he couldn't probably catch the Birchells, so he's just pacing himself.
Well, he certainly knew he had a race on his hands, that's for sure. And it's good to see the likes of Tim Reeves and Greg Clues getting dusted up to a certain extent here. What I mean by that in the nicest way is they are world championship class, just as the Birchells are world championship class, former world champions. So they should be able to run at the front, and they certainly do. And his recovery from that outing on the grass. Again, I'm looking at Ben Holland with the rear wheel sliding a bit. Maybe his tyre's gone off. Maybe he had a different tyre choice. But it's only a matter of time, I think, before Roger Lovelock on the green outfit makes it through. Ben Holland, Lee Watson. Lee, of course, the lad who entertained us so with that huge spill as he fell from the sidecar at Brands Hatch. Doesn't want to be reminded of that, I'm sure, but it was very entertaining. Mercifully without injury, apart from a few bits of abrasion and skinned hands. Well, they're battling on, and that's the gap now. It's quite a large gap. Mercifully, as they go, oh, Greg Lambert and Carl Schofield on the Ropers Caravan sponsored outfit ahead of Gordon Shand on the yellow bike. They're down the order, but the scrap is no less intense. And straight from this meeting, Greg Lambert is off to ride in the Southern 100 in the Isle of Man. So he's got to go from Snetterton home to North Yorkshire, unload the van, put the 600cc outfit in, and off to the Isle of Man for the Southern 100. Gordon Shand, another one of our competitors who makes that trip, he's riding an F2 outfit as well at this same meeting. So what a busy boy Shandy is. There again, the back wheel sliding round and through on the inside. A wide open door goes Roger Lovelock.
You might be right about Ben's back tyre. There are 3 different grades of back tyre. There's a soft, medium and hard, and maybe Ben has come out on perhaps a soft tyre and it's going off. I'm not really sure what tyres they've got. Most have got mediums on, but he might have had a soft on the rear. He
does seem to have a problem holding the back end in line on the tight right-handers. Maybe his entry speed is so high that it's just slewing round, but you're looking now at an established second place. from Tim Reeves and Greg Clues. In third now, but still on the podium, Scott Laurie and James Neve. Ben Holland and Lee Watson relegated by the flying Roger Lovelock. There's your race leader. The gap is the length of this straight. Phenomenal performance by Ben and Tom Birchall. Almost sacrilege that they're ignored by our camera because this is where the action is. But having said that, you can't show everybody.
And I'm sure Ben will be quite happy to be out the front out of it. Yeah, he wanted to win desperately. He's got to win. So it's great.
Ben Bygrave, Callum Lawson having a sniff now at Phil Bell and Ashley Hawes. This pairing a double podium at Knock Hill, but they're less than comfortable here. They've had brake problems throughout practice. In fact, they did qualifying with virtually no brakes at all, and it looks as though they're similarly afflicted with brake trouble in this race. So Phil Bell and Ashley Hawes going backwards, surely a mechanical problem. 2.97 miles for Ben and Tom Birchall to do in the sunshine here at Snetterton, and this is an impeccable display. 25 points. They need every single point they can get.
So the outfit, it's quite interesting. That's their own fairing on that bike, and they built it themselves, and you can see it's impeccable. It's really, really nicely turned out. It's a one-piece fairing, I think, so it's a beautiful machine from that. It's interesting to note also, Barry, that these riders, most of these riders, have not done this circuit before. Totally new circuit to all of them, so that gearing is different, the tyres are different, all a learning curve.
Well, when I was talking to them about gearing, they're all very cagey, to be honest, about what gears they're going to use.
Birchall got it right.
Well, Scott Laurie said to me, "Don't give away my secrets." And I wouldn't give away his secrets, bless him. He's put it to good use here, that's for sure. Your race leader, though, Ben and Tom Birchall. On the Mitchell-sponsored outfit, the number 16 outfit, fresh, as I said earlier, from a second and a third place in the World Championship round and in Croatia. The British Championship, just as important to them, but unfortunately there is one more date clash, which means they will probably miss Silverstone in their quest for World Championship honour. Phil Bell, Ashley Hawes then soldiering round as the Birchalls come round in impeccable style. Not much further between where they are now and the checkered flag. They're at Coram, this never-ending right-hander. Round and round it goes. Now just watch the action as they come down to this left, hard on the brakes, the sidecar wheel just pawing the air. Now it's a sprint to the line, a shake of the hand. The brothers then, over the line they go. 27 miles completed, and a stunning victory for Ben and Tom Birchall. Further down the order, indeed, Tim Reeves and Greg Clues, some way back, but they nailed second place after, it has to be said, a terrific fight back. 11 seconds the gap. Scott Laurie, James Neve, Lovelock and Lawrence, you saw this battle going on. Holland. Bygrave recovered brilliantly to take 6 from Phil Bell. John Clark kept going, and Horsepole with Shelley Smithers, a female passenger, 11th place, picked up some points. Scott Laurie, James Neve, third place on the podium. Scott, you said to me, I'm just happy to be on the podium with the superstars. Come on, mate, you're one of them.
Really? There you go. Hey, Mum, I'm a superstar.
Terrific result, though.
Yes, considering we had a few one problem is the bike started overheating. She was leaking water somewhere, so I'm glad we got on the podium for that. Yeah, all good.
James, it's fast out there, and there's a lot of work for a passenger.
Yeah, it's not as fast as the old track, but it's still, even though there is long straights, there isn't really anywhere where you can sort of get a breather but yeah, it's fast, it's good. I like the new circuit anyway.
I'm being serious though, you said about the water problem, you're overheating, the engine was slowing. It could have been a better result.
I would like to think so. I noticed that my bike was progressively getting slower. Not slow, but I could definitely feel that I'd lost the edge. So yeah, I would have thought it could have been better.
Ben and Tom Birchall, what can I say? That was a demonstration in sidecar racing. What a win.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you know, we're just glad to be here after what we've been through lately. I must say a massive thank you to Andy and everybody from Mitchells of Mansfield. Sean Hegarty's been to see us this weekend as well, and Louis Christian for his help, and also Yanis Remps. Without them, we wouldn't have been here. You know, we had a big crash in Germany, and we've come back on good form, I think. Yeah, I was just enjoying riding the bike. It was you know, I won't say it was easy, but you know, it's always hard. But I just really enjoyed it. It's been superb, and the Avon tyres are they're just spot on. You know, they just work magic for us.
Tom, everything flowed. You look neat and smooth. I mean, it was a joy to watch.
Yeah, a joy to ride, really. Yeah, the bike's absolutely set up brilliantly. You know, everything's just in place. Everything's working good together. Me and Ben are working great together on bike. You know, the whole team's gelling. It's a pleasure to be involved in it. Yeah.
Get him out.